Your cat hasn't been acting like themselves lately? Maybe you've noticed it in small ways. They're quieter, slower to get up, they used to follow you from room to room, and now they just watch you from across the floor. And somewhere in the back of your mind, a little voice keeps asking, is something wrong? Or is this just what getting older looks like? Here's what I want you to know before anything else. Your cat is not giving up on you. They are not pulling away. What's actually happening is something a lot of pet owners don't fully understand until it's too late. Your senior cat still has wants, still has needs, still has love to give. They just can't tell you what they're missing, and if you're not paying attention to the right signs, they'll go quietly without a single complaint. That's what today is about. If you have an older cat at home and you want to make sure their days are as good as they can possibly be, stick with me, and if this channel is new to you, hit subscribe so you never miss a video like this one. Let's start with something that sounds simple but makes an enormous difference, which is comfort. Not comfort in a vague, general sense, physical comfort, the kind that comes from a body that isn't fighting itself every time it tries to rest. As cats get older, their joints stiffen. The cartilage that used to cushion their movements starts to wear down. Things that once took zero effort, like jumping onto the couch, curling into a tight ball, climbing up to their favorite window spot, those things now take something from them. Sometimes a lot. But here's the part that breaks my heart a little: they won't tell you. Cats are wired to hide discomfort, it's instinct. So instead of crying or limping dramatically, they just quietly stop doing the things that hurt. They sleep more, they stay on the floor, they pick the spot closest to the ground. And you might look at that and think, oh, they're just slowing down or they're getting old. That's normal. But what if it doesn't have to hurt as much as it does? A softer bed, a heated blanket, a sleeping surface that actually supports their spine and hips instead of pressing into them. These are not luxuries for an aging cat. They are necessities. Something as simple as swapping out an old flat mat for a memory foam or bolstered bed can genuinely change how your cat feels when they wake up each morning. If you notice your cat hesitating at the edge of the couch or avoiding places they used to love, get them a ramp or a low step. Don't make them choose between their favorite spot and their comfort. Give them both. Now let's talk about something that often gets overlooked when we focus on the physical stuff: safety. Not safety from danger, emotional safety. The feeling of predictability and calm that lets an aging animal's nervous system finally exhale. Here's what changes as cats get older: their senses shift, hearing can dull or in some cases, become more sensitive and overwhelming. Vision changes, the world starts to feel a little less familiar, a little less legible, and when the world feels uncertain, cats look for anchors. And you are one of those anchors, so is the routine you keep. The spot where their food bowl lives, the chair you sit in every evening, the sounds of your home at the same hours every day. These things communicate safety to your cat in a way that no amount of expensive toys or premium food ever could. When you change things suddenly, rearrange furniture, bring in a new person, shift feeding times, it can register as genuine stress for a senior cat. Their body responds to stress the same way ours does. Cortisol rises, digestion suffers, sleep quality drops, their immune system takes a hit. Stability isn't boring to them, it's medicine, and speaking of things that feel like medicine is your presence. I want you to think about this for a second, because it matters more than most people realize. Your senior cat may not jump into your lap the way they used to, they may not greet you at the door or weave between your feet when you walk to the kitchen, and it can feel honestly like they've become a little indifferent, a little distant, but they haven't. What you're seeing is a cat who loves you just as much as they ever did, expressing it in the only ways their aging body will allow. Sitting 3 feet away instead of on top of you, watching you from across the room instead of following you, resting in the same space you occupy, not touching, but close. These are not signs of withdrawal, These are love letters in a language you have to learn to read. So meet them where they are. If they can't come to you the way they used to, go to them, sit on the floor, rest your hand near them, and let them decide if they want to be touched. Talk to them in a low, familiar voice. You don't have to do anything elaborate, you just have to show up and stay. Your presence, the actual physical fact of you being near them, lowers their stress, regulates their nervous system, and tells them everything they need to know. You're still here. You still see them. They are not alone. Now here's something that might surprise you. Your senior cat still wants to play. Not the way they did at 2 years old. Not the high-speed, launch themselves off the wall kind of play, but engagement, interaction, mental stimulation, the small, satisfying feeling of being an animal who still has instincts worth using. A slow-dragging feather toy, a puzzle feeder with a couple of treats inside, even just watching a bird video on your phone while they sit next to you. These things light up the brain in ways that matter. They fight cognitive decline. They reduce depression, yes. Cats can experience something very close to depression. And they reinforce the bond between you in a way that nothing passive really can. Play is not a reward for kittens, it's a need. And it doesn't stop being a need just because your cat has gotten older. 5 minutes, that's all it takes. 5 intentional minutes of gentle, low-effort engagement each day can make your senior cat feel seen in a way that carries them through the whole rest of the day. Let's shift to food, because this is an area where a lot of well-meaning cat owners accidentally make things harder for their aging pets without realizing it. Appetite changes in senior cats are common, but the reason behind the change isn't always what we assume. We think they're just not as hungry, or maybe their metabolism is slowing. And sometimes that's part of it. But often, eating has simply become less enjoyable or genuinely uncomfortable. Dental pain is one of the most underdiagnosed sources of suffering in older cats. If their gums hurt, if their teeth are sensitive, chewing dry kibble is not a neutral experience. It hurts, so they stop. Or they eat just enough to take the edge off and walk away. Smell is another factor. Cats rely heavily on scent to find food appealing. As they age, their sense of smell can dull. Warm food releases more aroma than cold food. Something as small as gently warming their wet food for 10 seconds in the microwave, not hot, just warm, can make it dramatically more appealing to a cat who's been turning their nose up at meals. Lower the bowl. Use a wide, shallow dish that doesn't press against their whiskers. Put the food somewhere they can reach without crouching in a way that strains their neck or hips. These are tiny adjustments, but the difference they make is not tiny. Eating should feel like comfort. If it doesn't, something needs to change. Let's talk about patience. This is the one I want you to sit with for a moment, because it's the hardest and the most important. There will be days when your senior cat moves so slowly it tests you. When they stand in the middle of the room and seem confused about where they were going, when they miss the litter box, when they call out at night for reasons you can't immediately solve, when they just feel like a lot. And you love them, of course you do. But love doesn't make the hard moments disappear. Loving something deeply doesn't mean you never feel frustrated or sad or helpless. What I want to offer you is this. Your cat is not doing any of it on purpose. They are not confused because they're being difficult. They are not slow because they've stopped caring. They are living in a body that no longer does what it used to, and they are adjusting the best they can, moment by moment, without the ability to understand why or explain it to you. What they need from you more than any supplement, any bed, any toy, is for you to take a breath and let them have their pace. Let them take 3 times as long to cross the room. Wait for them. Let the moment be what it is, because patience, real patience, given freely to an animal who cannot ask for it, is one of the most profound acts of love you will ever offer another living thing. There's one more thing your senior cat wants, and it's the thing that runs underneath all of the others. They want to feel loved, not managed, not maintained, not efficiently cared for. but loved. In the small moments that don't look like much, the 10 seconds you pause and really look at them, the hand resting on their back while you watch something on your phone, the soft word you say when you pass them in the hallway, the moment you choose to sit on the floor instead of the couch because that's where they are, they notice all of it. Even now, even with older eyes and slower days and a body that doesn't cooperate the way it used to, they still feel your warmth, they still recognize your voice, they still know the difference between being in a home where they matter and being somewhere they're simply kept. You already know which one you're giving them, that's why you're here. One day, you'll look back on this season of their life, the quiet evenings, the slow movements across the floor, the way they position themselves near you without quite touching you, and I think you'll see those moments differently than you do right now. You'll see the love in them, the loyalty, the trust. Don't wait for something to be wrong before you start paying attention to what they need. Start today. Make their sleeping spot softer, warm up their food, sit with them for a few minutes longer than you planned, learn the new language they're using to tell you they still love you, because your cat may not be able to ask for any of this. But they are still hoping with everything they have that you'll understand, and when you do, you won't just be taking care of a senior cat, you'll be honoring the years they've spent choosing you every single day, without question. That's the whole thing, that's all they ever wanted.